I wanted to kind of touch bases with my purpose for bringing about information pertaining to the medical field, again, which is not to put the field down, because for a long time, when we didn't understand things in the Bible, we had to rely on that field. And so I'm not negative toward the medical field. But what I am saying is that there is a law of God that says whatsoever a man believeth, or that's what he sows, he shall reap. Whatever a man thinketh, so shall he be becoming. And because of that law, I do not just give myself over to the knowledge of the medical field. I do not abide by all the rules and all the regulations that they promote and say that we need to do in order to be healthy. I just don't. And that's my right, as it is anyone's right. You know, a lot of us coming into our spiritual identity, we're understanding a lot more control we have over ourselves and our lives. I've been in the medical field off and on since 1993. I didn't stay in there long. I was working as a licensed practical nurse, and I've dealt with various sick people, and I've dealt with that system on that level. The American Medical Society has put a clamp and put a patent on healing. If you don't come to us, you will not be healed. And that's pretty much the impression and the outlook that they're giving us. The experts are saying that there are certain diseases that you catch that are incurable. But what they're really saying is we cannot cure it. The medical field is who has been teaching us about our health, about what's good for us, about what's not good for us. Other parts of the health field has been teaching what we should eat, how much of it we should eat, how much of it we should drink. And you know what? If you want to follow those rules and regulations, that's fine, because you have a right to assign to your life what you're going to abide by. Listen to what they're saying about black people. This is the education that they're teaching about black people in the medical field. Several deadly diseases strike black Americans harder and more often than they do white Americans. Among blacks, diabetes is 60% more common in black Americans than in white Americans. Blacks are up to 2.5 times more likely to suffer a limb amputation and up to 5.6 times more likely to suffer kidney disease than other people with diabetes. Are you listening to this? African Americans are 3 times more likely to die from asthma than white Americans. Deaths from lung scarring, or that word we use, sarcoidosis, are 16 times more common among blacks than among whites. The disease recently killed former NFL star Reggie White at age 43. And here they throwing in a little, now if this happened to Reggie White and he was only 43 and he was black, this can happen to you. Okay. Listen to this statement. Despite lower tobacco exposure, black men are 50% more likely than white men to get lung cancer. Strokes kill 4 times more 35 to 54-year-old black Americans than white Americans. Blacks have nearly twice the first-time stroke risk of whites. Blacks develop high blood pressure earlier in life. Nearly 42% of black men and more than 45% of black women aged 20 and older have high blood pressure. Cancer treatment is equally successful for all races. Yet, black men have a 40% higher cancer death rate than white men. African American women have a 20% higher cancer death rate than white women. Why? This article says, genes definitely play a role. So does the environment in which people live, their socio-economic status, and yes, racism. My point is not to get so in depth in this article. Like I said, I'm going to post the information where you can read this in detail. But what I'm trying to say is, here is again the medical science who says we're in charge of all the medical knowledge that's going to be dished out and taught out. This is what they're saying about black people. Now, you have a choice to believe that and take that knowledge into your knowledge bank and work your life and operate your life according to that if you choose to. I choose to call this a lie. I choose to believe it doesn't matter whether my skin is black or white. Cancer, stroke, hypertension, and all of these other diseases that they are claiming and attributing to blacks because they're black or because of some kind of black gene, I choose to take that knowledge, ball it up, and throw it away. I'm not operating by that. It's medical knowledge, medical taking over, saying they're the only ones who can cure, and then turn around and say some diseases are incurable. All of these things increases fear and decrease our chances of overcoming them and becoming healthy again. And so, in all fairness to medical science, they're not the only one at fault. The church, religion, is at fault. How? Many religions teach that God puts sickness on you as a punishment of what people are doing wrong. I mean, what kind of loving God is that? You wouldn't even want to hurt your child that's disrespecting you. You might want to pop them in their mouth. You might want to knock them out, but you don't want to kill them or put no disease on them. Come on now. And so, I mean, if God is putting sickness on us as a punishment, I can't fight against Almighty God. And how am I going to pray to be healed if He's the one that's doing it?